Cool. So yeah, if you want to...
Ready to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Grüezi. G'day. Ich bin der Markus Ballat, oder Mark Ballat. Ich bin in der Schweiz geboren und für die ersten 18 Jahre bin ich Schweizer gewesen. Ich bin in Einsiedler geboren und meine Eltern sind der Anton Ballat und Caroline Hodl Ballat. Wir haben in Einsiedler gelebt, das ist im Zentrum von der Schweiz, etwa 80 Kilometer von Zürich, in einem Dorf, das eine grosse Kirche hat, 900 Meter über Seelevel, über Seehöhe und viel Schnee. Wir hatten mehr oder weniger eine normale Familie. Ich habe noch 2 Brüder und 3 Schwestern. Der älteste Bruder war der Bruno, der zweite Bruder ist der Birmin, dann ist die Schwester, Rita, und eine andere Schwester, Ursula, und dann bin ich, Markus, und die jüngste Schwester ist Ivan. Das waren 6 Kinder. Und mit 6 Kindern haben wir in einer kleinen Wohnung gelebt, wo 3 Zimmer war und 1 Badzimmer. Und wir haben schon früh gelernt, dass man sich einfach anpassen muss. Und das Leben in der Schweiz war gut. Wir sind in die Schule gegangen, nicht kompliziert. Ich hatte ein normales Kinderleben, wo ich immer so nach mir selber geschaut habe und in die Schule gegangen bin. Ich bin nicht unbedingt gerne in die Schule gegangen, aber ich musste das einfach machen. Aber wenn ich 14 war, habe ich die Schule verloren und bin in die Lehre gegangen, zum den Skiwagnerberuf machen. Und das hat 3,5 Jahre gebraucht. Und nach 3,5 Jahren bin ich ein Skiwagner gewesen. Und da habe ich Glück gehabt, dass ich mit der Rossinol in die Fabrik gehen und lernen und mit dem Rennservice im Zeug reisen von Rennen nach Rennen. 1972 habe ich mich angemeldet, um auf Australien zu kommen. Und ich bin eigentlich überrascht gewesen, dass ich angenommen worden bin. Sie haben mir einen Brief geschickt und gesagt, am 2. Mai 1972 tut der Flug von Zürich abfliegen auf Australien. Können Sie mit? Und ich habe mich dann entschieden, dass das eine Chance ist, zum halb um die Welt herum, etwas Neues zu sehen und einfach etwas ganz anderes machen, was nicht viele andere Leute machen. Und dann bin ich eben ausgewandert, im 1972. Und von dort an bin ich auf Australien gekommen und Australien gewesen. Jetzt muss ich aber Englisch reden, weil jetzt sind wir in Australien. I arrived in Australia in Melbourne in 1972, 2nd of May. And it actually means that I've been here in Australia for 50 years this last May, which is half a century. Great, long time. By the way, my name in Australia is Mark Ballat, which is the English version of Marcus Ballat. But I came to Australia and had no English knowledge at all of the English language, and I knew very little about anything basically. But I knew how to work, and I had a trade behind me that had absolutely no advantage in Australia because we don't have a lot of snow. But I was really very, very fortunate in Australia to get jobs all the time. I was always busy. I never really had more than never really only had one job. I always had 2 jobs, and I was lucky enough to land in Melbourne, be looked after by the Australian government for 6 months. Really well looked after, where the cleaning, ironing, cooking, and everything for you. It was just really, really fortunate. But then I moved to Sydney and ended up living in Sydney. Had a job and went to Lytton Ridge, which is a mining town 700 kilometres from Sydney, northwest, where I played soccer for a Sydney soccer team, and I met my love of my life, Darinka. Most people know her as Daria. She was there with her 2 kids, having a break from Canberra household, and it was just quite terrific how we just met, and some reason were for many reasons just attracted to each other. After Lycan Ridge was over, I went back to Sydney. Darinka went back to Canberra, and not before long we sort of decided to get a bit more serious together. She had a bit of trouble at home with her ex-husband, and she moved to Melbourne, and I was in Sydney, and she rang me or sent me a letter saying, oh, what am I going to do and all that. And I said, look, I live in a 2-bedroom unit or a 3-bedroom unit in Sydney. You can come and live here until things are sorted out. So she moved there, and it worked out really well. And at that time, I already knew the boys reasonably well, because Michael was about 3 years old and Jules was 6 months old, and they were cute little kids. They were terrific. So for some reason, I decided to take on the challenge as a 19-year-old to have a partner with 2 children, which probably was in most people's eyes a bit of a challenge, all right. Yeah, things you don't do every day, but it was terrific. And sitting here today, it worked out really well. I was really very fortunate because this was just a country of opportunities, and we made the best of it. And now we can say that we live extremely well, that we're well looked after, and the family is great, from wife, children, grandchildren, and all the hanger-ons that come with it. They're all great people. But it was also terrific to come to Australia and have the opportunity to actually start from scratch and get to know the real world, where it was basically, you work hard, you can achieve something. And we did work hard, but we also achieved a great deal, and life is really good today. I wouldn't consider moving back home to Switzerland or anything like that. Australia is definitely my home. And if anybody from Switzerland or the rest of the world wants to come over here and have a good look around, they're most certainly welcome in our house, and we would be only pleased to show them around. We have, in our family, I probably should introduce the whole mob. There is Grandma, Darinka. She is the matriarch of the family. She is the linchpin. She makes things happen and organises things. An amazing cook and an amazing person right through. I'm, I guess, the grumpy old bastard. Every so often.
Love a bit of political talk.
And I'm passionate about not much stuff, but I'm passionate about Australia, because I just think we are just so fortunate to live in this country. And if anybody criticises and disagrees with whatever Australia is, I tend to take that a bit personal. Anything else really doesn't bother me a great deal. But it's very important, because I'm really passionate about that, because I've had a great fortune living in this country for 50 years, being really well looked after. Now that there's the other members of the family, like I said, is Jules and Julia, Jules and Michael. Michael is the older son. He's got a great family and a great partner, Tanya, and 2 terrific kids. One of them is Ashley, and the other one is Sophie, and they all different personalities. They can all be challenging in their own way, which is terrific. They don't just tag along and take what's dished up. And then there is Jules and Julia, and Jules also has a great partner, and that's Julia. And they also have 3 wonderful kids. One of them is Mia, that's the oldest one, stunning young lady, and Sachi, just beautiful in her own way, and Jet, great young gentleman, and they all will grow up to be terrific Australian citizens contributing to the country. and the country's well-being. And the future is looking really good because we can have great confidence in the next generation and the generation after that they have the right ethics and the right attitude to keep Australia the lucky country. I guess I've been here for 50 years. We'll probably go back to Switzerland next year just to visit the whole family. But it'll be as simple as that, where after a month or so we'll get homesick and love to come back home to Australia because life here is just terrific. Yeah, and thanks for listening. If you didn't get my name, it's in Switzerland it's Marcus with a K, and in Australia it's just Mark. Or officially, about a year ago, I had to actually change my name and make it all legal and call myself Marcus Ballard with a K. But that's not important. That they can call me whatever they want to call me. But so far it's been wonderful, and Ashley will make an amazing job out of all this information that she's collected from the family. We certainly look forward to seeing it one day, and it'll be just a great benefit for the whole family and everybody else that wants to know things about the family.
They're a big family.
And it'll keep the family unit tight knit, and that everybody knows about everybody's background a little bit. That's really important. So there you go.
Thanks, Gramps.
You can switch off the microphone.
Yep, will do. Good job. You pretty much covered all my...
Even stumble once.
I know, that was perfect. Good job.
There you go. A few more
What was I
beers
gonna-
and I'll talk all night.
He's very,
Yeah.
he's very regal, isn't he?
Very. All right. Hang on, it's crooked. Whoopsie. What gets you out of bed every morning? Why are you passionate about life?
I guess it comes down to being brought up where you live in a tiny 3-bedroom unit and you share your bed with 2 brothers in a bedroom maybe 3 meters by 4 meters, and you really couldn't not wake up because there would be 2 other people or 1 other person that is just noisy in the morning, and probably because he's a younger brother have a go at you because you're just nice and cozy in bed and comfortable. But then that's at an early childhood, you just get irritated and you're just desperate to get out of the place. But you know, for other later on in life, it's always been terrific to have a goal, no matter what it was. School time, we had no choice. You have to be there at 8 o'clock, and if you weren't there at 8 o'clock, the teacher would have a go at you and make life uncomfortable. So that you might as well be there on time. During apprentice time, I always took great pride on being on time, very thorough. That's just the way you do things. When I came to Australia, I realised you've got to get out of bed in the morning because nobody else does anything for you. So you get out of bed, and it's a routine thing where your whole life just gets used to that sort of thing, where you get out of bed in the morning unless you're sick and you don't feel well. But otherwise, once you get out of bed and you stand upright and you go outside, the world looks really good. It looks really bad from underneath the doona because it's awfully dark, and it's not a great place to be. But I also had a great deal of challenges to do. Not serious challenges, but just providing for a wife with 2 kids at a very young age, with no house and all that. So it was basically the challenge of saying, right, this is a job, we're going to take it serious and we're going to make a bloody good go of it, and it's the only way to go is to go for it. And I was lucky enough to have Darinka O'Dowry as a partner, which was also very motivated, sometimes almost a bit of a nightmare, which makes it interesting. But it was always, we never had time to mope around and feel sorry for ourselves. We had challenging times, but there was no reason to just pull the doona up over your eyes and think the world will solve the problem. It's you that needs to go out there And it's up to you to change and make changes. Even though you see things happening and you think, oh, it's not going to work. But you've got to give it a go and make it happen. So getting out of bed is hardly ever a problem. As I get older, which is real, there is no doubt that sometimes you're under the doona nice and cosy and warm, listening to Macca on Sunday morning, and you think, stuff the world. You just don't get out of bed because you don't have to. Because you're in a position that it's not going to make a difference if you don't get out of bed in the morning. But you have to move out and about and do stuff. And like I probably tell everybody, and they hear it many times before, it's for the good of the country. We need to contribute to the country, which is the community, the society, and the well-being of the country. And that just doesn't happen with lying in bed. So get up!
Good one. Awesome. Thanks, Gramps.
Is that it?
Legend.